So we are recording it now. We should start the way we always do with the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth?
The truth.
Fair to all
Fair to all
concerned?
concerned.
Will it build goodwill and better
goodwill and better
friendships?
friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And for our club, is it fun?
It's fun.
Absolutely. Miss Cindy, do you care to lead us in prayer, please?
I will do so. Pray with me, please. God of many names, you have blessed us with this wonderful country and community. Help us to find the respect needed within ourselves to show our gratitude. So many of our brothers and sisters are suffering from poverty, homelessness, hunger, illness, and despair. God, show us the way to help heal our hurting community members and our world. Let us as Rotarians be shining examples of truth, fairness, and building goodwill for the benefit of all in our actions every day. Be with us, God, as we carry on with our meeting, and watch over us as we carry on with our own missions. In these things we ask. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Lori Tuggle, our Rotary trivia question, please.
Give me 1 second here. Okay, everybody unmute yourselves and get ready for Rotary trivia, if I can speak today. Okay, everybody ready? According to Southern U.S. beliefs, to make a New Year's resolution stick, one must do what while making it?
Eat black eyed peas.
No. Which I did that, by the way. Okay, any guesses? Okay, be at death's door.
What?
I know. I had to ask because I thought it was funny, and then I thought, well, that's one way that we can all stick to it is being near. So, Happy New Year to everybody, and thanks for participating in the trivia. I'll collect your dollars.
Oh, what's the address of Death's Door?
Alrighty, Alex, do you care to introduce our member spotlight?
Yes, good afternoon, President Amber, fellow Rotarians, and Happy New Year to everyone. Good to see you all today. We're continuing on with our member spotlights today. We have another great Rotarian with us who's also on our Rotary board too, Nick Gillum. And I'll kick it over to Nick, and he can tell us a little more about himself and why he joined Rotary. So welcome, Nick.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'll be short and sweet. Name is Nick Gillum. I work with Edward Jones. My office is on Marywood Drive. I've got 4 kids, aging from my goodness, 10 down to 10 months old. So I'm pretty busy with that. Like a lot of people, I'm working from home these days. That's why I've got my recliner that I'm sitting in and everything. So kind of nice. But I joined Rotary back in 2019, as it says there. I just wanted to get involved in some kind of civic organization, and worked with Bryce Marsh, who's also a member, and went to a couple meetings with him and just had a good time. So there it is.
Wonderful, and happy anniversary coming up on the 14th. That's awesome.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Glad you joined us. Thank you very much. Just a few announcements before we get started. We have a Rotary board meeting starting 7:30 Monday morning via Zoom, and that Zoom link is good on that email that I sent out. We have, Dawn has sent out the local grant forms. We have our traditional community grants, and then of course we have the 10,000 matching grant, and everything is due by February 5th. So looking forward to going through those and seeing what all the needs are in the community. January, our month of service is going to be for the animal shelters here in Henderson, New Hope, and the Humane Society. There will be more information to follow after the board meeting, and after I get a list of some of the needs they need in any certain places for donations if people want to donate to those places. So it's going to be the animal shelters this month, which is kind of exciting for those little guys out there. And that's really all I have. I am so excited to introduce our speaker. I'm really interested to hear what she has to say, because I need to get organized. Amy Payne is a certified professional organizer. She launched Lasting Order in 2011 with the goal of helping people live their one and only lives with purpose and intention. Her organizing firm helps people clear the clutter at home and work. Her favorite part of organization is watching the client's reaction when they go from cluttered and overwhelmed to finally experiencing freedom and peace. And I think we all need a little bit of freedom and peace in our lives right now. So, Amy, please take over, and we look forward to it.
Sorry about that. I was so concerned about getting the presentation up, I almost forgot to unmute. Thank you so much for having me today. I am very excited about the new year. We love January. It's getting organized. It's actually National Get Organized Month. So it's perfect time. A lot of people like to take stock of their lives and their spaces and their workflows and get everything organized in January for the new year. So I am a very interactive presenter, and I know on Zoom it's a little bit hard to do that, but if you have a question, please just unmute and interrupt me. It's not going to bother me at all. I would love to hear from you guys if you have questions as we go. So feel free to jump right in. There we go. Okay, so my goal as a professional organizer is to help people go from overwhelmed to freedom. The number one word that people use when they call me is I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. I'm just frustrated with my situation. How many of you have ever felt overwhelmed? Raise your hand. Anybody? I know everybody feels overwhelmed at some point. The difference is, are you overwhelmed and you can get through it, or are you overwhelmed and you feel stuck? So when you feel stuck and you're overwhelmed, I come in, I love to help people get organized. And then the number one word people use when we get done organizing is they feel freedom. There's such a weight that comes with clutter. It just bogs you down when you have so much stuff on your desk that you can't tell what project you have to do next, or you walk into a room and it's so filled with stuff on every surface that you just get frustrated, you turn around and walk right out the door. So we want to help people experience that freedom that comes with getting organized. So today I'm going to walk you through a few things, but one of them is my 10-step process. I call it 10 steps to lasting order. I named the business Lasting Order because that's really the ultimate goal, is lasting order. The goal isn't for you to put stuff in cute boxes and go, ooh, it's organized, and walk away. The idea is for you to have good processes, good systems, reduce down to the amount of stuff that you actually need to have, and then be able to maintain it. So this 10-step process, I'm happy to email out to you guys later if you want to. We didn't really talk about that ahead of time, but it's kind of a lot of information. So if you don't want to take notes, I'm happy to just send you a handout afterwards if you'd like, and it walks through. So the 10 steps can be applied to pretty much anything. It can be applied to cleaning out your email inbox. It can be applied to cleaning out your closet. Whatever organizing project you have in mind, this process will help. So the number one benefit of getting organized, we ask all of our clients this as we go to work with them. We say, what are you looking to get out of this process? Most people say mental health improvement. Again, that feeling of overwhelmed, the feeling of frustration, of not being able to relax in your own space is draining on your mental health. So getting organized can really help you feel better about your life and your progress that you're making. It helps you save time and money. So you aren't wasting time looking for things that you aren't sure where you put it. You're not buying duplicates of things that you already have because you can't find it. So getting organized saves time and money. It helps bring clarity and focus. So when you walk into a space, you can walk right over and get what you're looking for. It helps you focus on the projects that you have at work to do when you're organized and you've got good control over what's going on, what's the next priority, what's happening next. It helps you be more productive. Again, with piles of paper, if you think about even mail coming into your house, if you need to pay a certain bill and your paper stack looks like the pile on the left, it's going to take you a lot longer. You are way more likely to get distracted than if you have a file or a tray where you can go straight to the bills that need to be paid. So getting organized helps you be productive. It also promotes safety and independence. So if you're wanting safe spaces where people aren't tripping over things, falling down the stairs, all that kind of stuff, it really helps seniors be more independent the more organized their house is, because then they can find, oh no, these are the expired pills. No, they're already gone. They don't have to worry about getting confused with all the different things in their house. So lots of benefits to getting organized. If you like being organized, I'm preaching to the choir. You already know, you already love it. It seems to be people out there that just absolutely love to be organized, and then people out there who just struggle with it. So not all of us are good at everything, and that's okay. That's why there's professional organizers, right? I know accounting is something I'm not particularly good at. I don't enjoy math, especially when I'm on the spot. I can't even add. It's ridiculous. So one of the first things I did when I started my business is I hired an accountant. Why not? It takes that pressure off of me that I don't have to worry about it. I know things are getting handled. My taxes are going to get paid on time, etc. So let's start with this. How many crock pots should one person own? Now I'm looking for interaction here, so feel free to unmute and shout out your answer.
One of every size.
One in every size. Why do you say that?
You got to have the little ones for the dip. You got to have the big ones for the main. You got to have the sides.
Okay. Anybody else have a different answer? Susan, were you trying to say something?
Oh, I said two, because sometimes when you have a big party, you've got two different things that have to be in a crock pot.
Okay. Anybody else have a different opinion?
I said just one is plenty because of where it's stored. It's too hard to get out.
Okay. All right. So I have had two different client scenarios where they each had 5 crock pots. One of the situations, the person has big family gatherings for Thanksgiving and Christmas, lots of family coming in from out of town, and having 5 crock pots at her house where she hosts the event saves the people coming in from out of town from having to bring their crock pots with them. And it makes it good for big family events. Great. My other client had 5 crock pots. Because she couldn't find them, she kept purchasing more. Okay, so how many should one person own? There's no right answer. There is no one size fits all organizing. I can't sit here and tell you exactly how long you should keep every piece of paper, because we have a variety of people on this call, and one person may run a business from home. One person may be caring for aging parents that have a lot of medical bills. So there is no one size fits all. And that's why I developed this process, the 10 steps to lasting order, because then you're able to take this process, walk through the process, and make the decisions that you need to make that are customized to you. So let's dive into the 10 steps. So step number 1 is to find purpose. So what is the purpose of your schedule? What are you trying to accomplish with your life, right? So are you trying to participate in civic engagement, like Nick said? Are you trying to participate, with your family more? All of the purposes of why you do what you do will inform how you're spending your time. Just like in the purpose of a space. If you have a room called a junk room, you're likely to fill it with junk. If you give it a purpose and a name, you're less likely to fill it with junk and more likely to only put items in that space that fit the purpose. So when you're beginning an organizing project, I want you to each kind of think about an area that you need to organize, and then think about, like, why would I want to do this project? What's the benefit? What's the purpose? If it's a particular space, what's the purpose of that particular space? And when you start with that purpose, you can always come back to that purpose when you get partway through and you get frustrated or tired. I know when you're dealing with like a lifetime full of clutter, filling up a whole house, it's really easy to get bogged down and be like, forget it, I'll just go do something else. Netflix, that sounds awesome right now. I don't want to organize that closet. It's too overwhelming. So when you have a purpose and you know why you're doing what you're doing and you're focused on that, that helps you stick with the project until it's completed. So find a purpose. Number 2, you're going to create a plan. So when you're thinking about a specific organizing project that you're going to tackle, you want to think about what is causing the disorganization first. So what is it? How did I get here, right? It didn't just happen overnight. Disorganization doesn't just happen. Why? How are you disorganized? Why are you disorganized? Is it that you don't have a good place to put your mail when you bring it in from the mailbox? Or is it that you've never given a purpose to that particular closet? Or maybe you moved in a hurry and you didn't have time to deal with it. Then you went to work and you've been busy. So, why? What's the cause of the disorganization? Sometimes it's mental health issues. You're depressed, or you have physical health issues where you have low energy, or maybe you're not physically able to crawl into that attic anymore and go get something, or lift a heavy bin over to the couch where you can sit there and organize it. So there's a lot of different reasons why people are disorganized. There's really 2 different types of disorganization. One of them is what we call situational, which is like you got married, got a divorce, had a baby, moved. There's a situation of why you suddenly have disorganization. And then there's chronic disorganization. And that's where we really, really come in, helping someone who's chronically disorganized. Maybe they never learned the skill as a child. We had a client once who I was helping her, and she was telling me a story. She had Asperger's syndrome, but she was telling me a story about when she went to kindergarten. She asked them, she's like, what is the thing that person's pushing down the hallway? It was a broom. She literally went to kindergarten and didn't even know what a broom was. So you take someone who grew up in a home where there was basically 0 housekeeping, you add Asperger's to that, and then you set them independent as an adult. How on earth would you expect that person to keep their house clean and organized? You can't. Somebody needs to teach them. So chronic disorganization can be that they never learned, or it can be that they struggle with ADD, ADHD. Maybe there's some dementia starting to set in. Lots of different reasons why people are chronically disorganized. So when you're looking at creating a plan of action, understanding why it's disorganized or how it got that way is a great place to start, and then work your way through how are we going to make a difference. Okay. So when we go in and do an assessment, we go room to room and we look at every single room. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, what are your top 3 areas? And if top 3 areas is still way too overwhelming, then you can look at one space. What are the top 3 areas within this space? Like this countertop, this drawer, this shelf, and break that project down into manageable pieces. Then you can start making SMART goals where you are giving yourself a deadline. Okay, I'm going to have this shelf cleared out by Friday, or I'm going to have this room done by the end of February. That way you have a specific goal in mind, you know exactly what project you're going to tackle, and you can work your way through that project. All right, the next step is identifying categories. So once we've decided what the purpose is, we've created a plan, now we're going to dive in. The first thing we do is pull the stuff out and sort it into categories. So putting like items with like items. If you don't even know how many crock pots you own, how on earth are you going to decide which one you actually want? So sorting things, think about, how do I use this item? Where do I use this item? For example, a lot of people will keep a pair of scissors in every room, because for efficiency's sake, why would you walk, 3, go upstairs to go get a pair of scissors when you need one in every room? So once you've kind of gathered things, you've put like items together. This could be, for example, I had a client who had a ton of clothes, like just beyond. I can't even explain to you. It would take me longer than what I have here to explain to you why she had this many clothes. But we put all of her black tank tops together. We realized she had 15 black tank tops. So if your clothes are scattered all over your entire house, you can't possibly know that you even have 15, let alone figure out which one you want to keep. So first thing, sort it out, put it in categories. And then the next thing is you're going to decide what you're going to purge. So what are you going to get rid of? And then think about how are you going to get rid of it? Are you going to sell items? Are you going to have a garage sale, do a consignment sale, an auction? Are you going to donate stuff? Who are you going to donate to? Are you going to recycle some things? Are you going to throw things away? If it's large items, how are you going to transport it? All the things you need to think about when you're thinking about purging. Notice what we haven't talked about yet. We haven't talked about buying containers. A lot of people, the first step is they're like, ooh, I'm going to get organized. I'm going to go buy containers. No, that's the wrong order. We will get to containers later. First, you want to get rid of the stuff that you don't need. And I would encourage you to be very, very harsh with yourself on this. If it's something you can easily attain again for a low cost, let it go. If it's I might, maybe, kind of, sort of, possibly need this in the future, let it go. When in doubt, throw it out. I like to teach my clients the philosophy of generosity, of living life with an open hand. If you're not using it now, pass it on to someone who can use it. And then in this instance that you would need that item back, trust that you'll be able to get that item or something similar back in the future from someone else that's living life with an open hand. When we have the hoarding mentality, the I have to hold on to it just in case, that's when our homes start to fill up with stuff and it just gets out of control. So once you've purged what you no longer want, pick a home. Find a home for everything. So you know the phrase, a home for everything and everything in its place, probably an organizer's favorite phrase. Again, create purpose, name each space. A junk drawer isn't a junk drawer, right? Call it a utility drawer. Everyone has the same stuff in their junk drawer. Mostly has the same stuff. Pens and pencils, maybe a screwdriver, chip clips, paper clips, sometimes coupons. Think about what you want to store in the drawer, create a little home for each section of things that you want to keep, and then don't put junk in it. So call it a utility drawer, give it a purposeful name, don't put junk in it. So once you've created space for everything, then you can start to think about, oh, sorry, I have a junk drawer cute thing to show you. If you don't know where something belongs, it belongs in this drawer, is what it says. So we recommend just kill the junk drawer altogether, name it something else. So once you've defined a home, then now step 6 out of 10, you can get containers. So until you know how much you have, you've put like items together, you've gotten rid of the stuff that you no longer want, you've figured out where you want to store it. Now you can get containers because now you can see what size of container you need to hold the items and where it's actually going to live. So we love to use containers even inside of drawers or cabinets. If you have a kitchen cabinet that you're reaching medicine or spices in the back, you tend to maybe knock things over. So we put them in a little container. You can take that container out, get what you need out of it, put the container back in. So we use containers a lot. All right, and then once you have your containers, you've got your stuff put in it, then you can label it. Labeling, a lot of people don't think that they need to label stuff. And I have this conversation frequently. If you have anyone else that lives in your household, label the stuff because you think, oh, well, they know where that goes. And then you're going to find the item somewhere else and get frustrated that they're not putting things away where they belong. Another thing, clients will tell me, oh, we don't need to go through that bin, it's all books. And we open the bin, guess what? It's not books. It's like 100 different other categories of stuff. Even you think you'll remember what's in it. Even you will forget what's inside that drawer, container, etc. So make sure that you label it. And then maintenance, maintain. The habits and routines are the key to maintaining organization. If you organize it, put in a beautiful container, put a label on it, and you never bother with it again, guess what? It's going to be disorganized again. You have to maintain your system. Part of why I like containers is because they contain. When the container gets full, that's your indicator that I need to get rid of something, right? I have too many blankets to fit into my little blanket trunk, so therefore I need to get rid of a blanket. When you bring one in, take one out. I recommend in your closets to have the correct number of hangers for the number of shirts you're keeping. And then when you buy a new shirt, in order to have a hanger, you have to get rid of a shirt. So the maintenance is the key. Maintenance and your systems there, habits and routines. Just like when the trash can gets full, you take it out. When your donation box gets full, take the donations. So good habits and routines. Number 9, celebrate. Celebrate your accomplishments. I work with a lot of chronically disorganized people that when we get done with a space, they're like, oh, but there's so much more to do. Okay, there is, but you need to celebrate what you've accomplished. The more you recognize how far you've come, the more motivated you are to keep going. So don't forget to stop and celebrate your accomplishments. And step number 10, when you have created a system, plan A, and you realize this isn't really working, it's not working for me. Either I don't have good habits and routines to back it up, or it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for the way my brain works. Go to plan B. There are 26 letters in the alphabet, so keep trying. Don't give up. When you give up and you stop trying to find a system or you stop trying to maintain your system, you'll be back to square one. So 10 steps to lasting order. The other thing is when circumstances change, for example, you move, your systems have to adjust with you. So don't forget that there's also other circumstances in which you need to kind of redo your system or fix it. So 10 steps to lasting order. What I want you to do right now is I want you to think about all the different things I've said, and I want you to think of one area, space, project that you want to organize and come up with your plan of action. How are you going to tackle it? Come up with a couple of goals of when are you going to accomplish certain tasks by. If it makes you feel better, you can email me. Well, my email's not on there, but it's Amy, AMY, at lastingorder.net. Send me an email. Say, hey, Amy, I was at your presentation. Here's the things that I'm going to accomplish and by when. And just having that accountability will help you actually tackle that organizing project. So what questions? I'm sorry, I can talk about organizing a really long time and I try to keep it very short. So what questions do you have for me today? Anybody? Just shout them out there. Or does somebody want to tell me an area that you plan to tackle? Do you have a question about anything? Stacy, what you got?
What's a realistic timeline for completion, like a whole house completion or maybe just breaking it down to a room completion? What's your average time?
Of how long it takes us or how long it'll take you?
Me without your help. Are we talking days, weeks, years?
It really depends on how fast you make decisions, whether you have any accountability at all, and what if you've set realistic goals. So it really depends. I mean, I could go in and clean out a bedroom in one day, but if it's stuff that I am not personally emotionally attached to. So if it's you and your emotion, it just totally depends on what it is, how much stuff there is in the space. Let's say you're going through a household that someone has lived there for 30 or 40 years and it's very cluttered. It's not unreasonable to think that it might take you a whole year to get through. I mean, it really depends on how much free time do you have to spend on the project. Is that the only thing that you want to do with your free time for the next however long? So there's so many factors that go into that. It's hard to answer that broad of a question, but I would say evaluate how much free time you have, break the project into manageable bite-sized chunks, and then tackle them one at a time. I mean, that's what we do with our clients. We're like, hey, here's the project. Here's the top 3 areas. We're going to break it into, you know, each session that we come, we're going to work our way down that priority list. And we're going to knock it out as fast as we can. So what other questions do you guys have?
Amy, any suggestions on how to handle books?
How to handle books? Are they books that you're currently reading?
No, not necessarily. we have shelves and shelves of books that aren't.
Yeah, so I want you to get very realistic about, now, do you read any books on devices or do you only read paper books?
We're just talking about all the paper books we have in the house. Yeah.
Right, but do you read books on a device now?
Some, a little bit.
Okay, so you're not opposed to that.
That's correct.
Okay, do you have a library card?
Yes.
Okay, I would encourage you to really evaluate your books. If they're books that you use, say you go to the shelf and refer to something in the book, those may be more to the keep pile. If it's a book that you've read before and you haven't picked it up in over a year, you could probably donate that and get rid of it. And then utilize your, you know, a Kindle or online, you know, reading Apple Books or whatever service you use, utilize your library. If it's a book that maybe you can't find at a library, maybe that would be a keep. If it's one easily accessible, donate.
Some of our books almost become old friends in a way. But.
Yes, and books tend to be one of those emotional categories for readers. It can be really tough. It's interesting because some clients have no problem getting rid of books, but they really struggle with clothes. And another client, no problem. Get rid of one, keep the other, no big deal. So each person has their own stuff that they're emotionally attached to. One question I would ask too is, what's the purpose? Are you trying to eliminate a piece of furniture? Are you thinking about moving? You know, those things can help inform why do you even want to get rid of the books. Does that help?
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Somebody stop me when we're out of time here. Any other questions?
I'm wondering about family heirlooms. My husband and I are both at an age where we've inherited probably our parents' junk that they did not organize.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of it we've kind of saved and we've got furniture, but our children don't want this stuff. So do you have any suggestions for how to emotionally handle that we've saved the stuff forever and taken care of it, and now our kids don't want it? You think that's a firm we don't want it and we should get rid of it? Or any ideas about that? Have you seen those patterns with families?
Yes, this is a very, very common question and concern. And I would say a couple of things to you. Number one, I give you permission that you do not have to hold on to something that someone passed on to you if you don't want it. You don't have to hold on to it. If you don't find it useful, like you're not using the piece of furniture to actually store something legitimate, or you're not using the desk or whatever, or you don't even like it. There's so many people who inherited things, they don't even like them. Get rid of it. I give you permission. You can get rid of that stuff. If your kids say they don't want it, chances are very, very good they do not want it. And I would say let it go. If you've given them the opportunity to take it if they want it and they say no thank you, please don't guilt them into feeling like they have to take it, because then you're just perpetuating this cycle of family clutter, right? They need to have the permission to say no. You need to have the permission to let it go. As far as the emotional part of letting it go, I mean, I've got a lot of tips and tricks in my bag of how you can remember the person without having to hold on to the item that they gave you. Okay, because that's what it's about for most people. I loved my parents. They gave me X. Therefore, I feel like I'm not showing my love for them if I let go of X. That is not a true equation. You can love someone and let go of something that they gave you. So think through it that way. Like, are you really holding on to it because you feel like you would be betraying someone because grandma or mom loved that item so much? Or are you holding on to it because you truly love it yourself? If it's about you, keep it. If it's about them, let it go. If you feel bad, maybe take a picture of it. We've even helped clients take a bunch of pictures of things that they inherited so they can make a little photo book and they can remember all the things that mom and dad loved. And then the photo book takes up a lot less space than 15 pieces of furniture. So think about that. Anybody else? Okay, well, if you think of more questions, feel free to give me a call. I love organizing, love talking organizing. I'm on Zoom a lot doing networking and different things. So even if we need to hop on Zoom together and discuss, I'm happy to do so. So feel free to contact me. Thank you so much for having me today. And if you want a copy of the handout from today, I don't know if one of your leaders wants to collect emails, or you can just shoot me an email. Again, it's Amy, AMY, at Lasting Order, and it's .net, not .com. So .net. All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you
Amy.
so much.
It was awesome. I have the 10 written down, but I will be emailing you so I can get a copy of your handout for sure.
Great. Happy to share.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll see everybody next Thursday. Don't forget, we have a board meeting Monday morning, and I think that's it. Bye, everyone. Thank you very much, Amy. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, Amber.